I don't know why I'm wasting all this time doing this. This isn't right. And these things just don't seat properly. No, it doesn't belong there. There is a better way. There is a much better way of doing this than struggling to finding locations to where dies belong in models. This can be a big waste of time in a dental laboratory. Too much handling of the dies. I'd like to show you a better way of doing this. It's called the Kerr indexer system. On each dowel pin that we're using, we have a color-coded indexer, and we also have a collar which is inside the base. After we section this working model, we'll know exactly where the dies will belong simply by the color coding of the two parts of the system. You can see the color of the indexer and also the collar inside the base of the model, and color to color is easier to match up. This also saves us a lot from wear and tear on the dies or any possibility that there might be some kind of a rotational factor into them. You have stability to it. They only seat back in just one way. Very simple and easy system to use. Proper preparation of our model that we're going to be using for the removable dies is pretty important to the situation. We make sure that everything is trimmed down so you don't want too much bulk of it. We're going to reverse pin or parallel pin the model itself. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use some cyanoacrylate glue. The viscosity of it should be fairly thin for the pins. The holes then would be filled up and the pins are placed inside. Before we start gluing these into our model itself, we have to assemble the indexer. There is a posterior which will have two parts to it for the anti-rotational factor. And then, of course, the anterior, which has a single part to it. The assembled pin, along with the indexer, is placed into the pre-drilled base with some cyanoacrylate and glued in place. And what I've done is I've used the double wings in the posteriors and the single in the anterior region. The indexers and the pin are actually glued into the model. The collar is not glued down and will slip off into the base. Everything is assembled, and then what we'll do is we'll use a separating agent and then pour our base. I like to use Kerr's Super Sep so that the two models don't stick together. My preference for the bases is always to use a type 4 low expansion stone. After it's done with everything paralleled, it'll be able to come apart all in one piece, and the colored sleeves are now into the base. After we section this die model, we know exactly where every piece belongs. The colors, coating, the stability, the rotational factor are all been handled.